else? You got any other
Leave
suggestions?
him on mute until he provides it. Meanwhile, he fought with you about down is towards the center of the Earth. Now, if you level a laser on a globe Earth and you shoot a laser beam horizontally, and he said that it would go straight if unaffected by the atmosphere. So if it's curving in a manner which makes the off angle of the horizontal decrease towards the surface of the Earth, that would be going down in altitude. And since his only explanation for down is towards the center of the Earth, that means the laser would be curving down. So he fought you that the laser's not curving down, but then he proved in his own worldview the laser has to be curving down. So he thought he had a victory there, but he actually didn't. The only other way for him to think about it is to say that the laser isn't curving. You follow that? Because if the trajectory of the laser, if the trajectory of the laser is expected to be straight, but the trajectory is curving towards the Earth, then it's either going down from the horizontal frame of reference you established, or it's going down towards the center of the Earth because it's decreasing from its previous trajectory. So it's going down. In both views, it would be going down. So he's just simply wrong.
Well, my thing with these lasers, if this was such a common event, surely someone would have either photo or video evidence of these lasers just following the curvature of the Earth. It'd be an everyday occurrence.
Well, fair enough. But if he's saying that this is what down means, and this is what would be happening that you would call down, but it's not going down, then he must be asserting that it's going straight the entire time. So it's not curving, yet it's following a curve. That would make his position incoherent.
So he's just.
So in other words, he believes curved lines are straight. That's basically what he believes.
So for the ring laser gyroscope, number one, what calibration actually means for a ring laser gyroscope? Calibration is not setting it to read 15 degrees per hour. That is not what we were claiming, my friend. Calibration means zeroing electronic offsets, measuring scale factor, hertz per rads per second, removing thermal drift, removing mirror imperfections and backscatter bias. None of these steps assume Earth rotates. Number two, step by step, no hand waving. Zero offset calibration, put the gyro on vibration isolation, rotate it slowly back and forth mechanically, average the output. Any consistent bias cancels out. This removes electronics and cavity asymmetry. Earth rotation does not cancel because it is unidirectional. C. Thermal calibration. Change temperature deliberately, measure how output shifts, compensate for it. Temperature effects vary. Earth's rotation does not vary with temperature. And that's what he sent me.
Well, if Earth's rotation doesn't vary with temperature, then how come the Russians did a test with a gyro in a supercooled chamber and they got a different rotation rate? How come when Bob Odell...
How are we doing today?
Hey, hello. Somebody's speaking. Wait your turn. Thanks. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, imagine walking into a room where somebody's talking about something important, and then you say, hey, I'm in the room now. It's such a rude thing to do, man.
No, this was a sign of being respectful and acknowledging the presence of everyone in the room.
Well, you don't do it when somebody's talking, right?
Hey, let's stop talking about that. Listen, friend who thought it wasn't important to interject. Do you have a point to make, or did you just want to announce your presence? If you just wanted to announce your presence, go back on quiet. If you wanted to talk, I opened the floor to you. Go ahead and talk.
Sure, I would like to ask you, what's the proof for flat Earth if you guys want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. That's a good question.
Thank you.
So the Earth is covered in water. Water is the gold standard throughout all of human antiquity, defining the term level. Okay? When you go and measure water, it measures to be flat and horizontal. All the surface points between two parallel planes. And since the height of everything is off of sea level, and it extends across 70% of the known territory of the Earth, that means the highest mountain, Everest, to the highest trench, the Marianas Trench of the ocean, right? They're all between two parallel planes, reference to the horizontal sea level. So the Earth is arranged horizontally, and the water is flat and extended horizontally on the surface. So the Earth is flat. There you go.
Thank you for your answer. That was an interesting perspective.
Right, and now notice how I said you measure it flat. One such method you could use is lasers. You could take a laser, that's what we were previously contending about before you joined, and you could measure a piece of water that would be sufficient to the task, get the laser, get the measurement, and discover that it's not a globe, that it actually is horizontal. And then you could extrapolate the physics of water across the known territory, which is 70% water, and therefore all the water is flat because it's the oceans are a contiguous body of water. Yes, they have sea level rises and falls, sure, but they're all between two parallel horizontal planes with no curvature commensurate with the globe that the heliocentric model claims of a radius of 3959 in miles, or 40,000 in 40,000 circumference in kilometers, right? So the curve of the water doesn't match what they claimed. In fact, it matches nothing in between point A and point B because the laser, when you shoot it across from one spot to another, it hits the target pretty much every time, which debunks the globe by 2 orders of magnitude. So in other words, the globe is expecting 300 feet differential, but we get within the 10-foot differential.
But my question to you would be then, if the earth is flat, then why is it that people of certain countries experience night in their region, whereas people of other countries experience daytime?
Yeah, sure thing, no worries. So this question has an assumption in it that if the sun was above the earth, it would light up the entire earth simultaneously. Now, all I have to do is remove that assumption, and then the conclusion of why it would matter would be insignificant. So, for example, whenever you're in a big building, they have more than one light. We know everywhere we go that one light isn't sufficient to light up everything unless it's bright enough, right? And unless it's bright enough, able to penetrate the ambient atmospheric conditions, and able to reach all points on the surface. Now, if the sun is simply not powerful enough to saturate the entire Earth simultaneously, then that would be why you see different amounts of daylight wherever you are, because the sun moves around. So the sun, we see it above us, and then it moves away from us. And it keeps moving away, and then it gets darker and darker and darker the more it moves away. So it's reasonable to assume that the sun moves around and it takes the light with it, or the light follows it. Either way, you end up with you're standing on a flat horizontal surface as proven by flat water, and the sun just moves around above our heads. There you go.
Oh, okay, you don't believe the sun is large enough or luminous enough to light up entire region of Earth if the Earth was flat?
Oh, dude, listen, I live in a mountainous area, and the
Yeah.
sun can pass from noon to midday, right, or mid-afternoon, and I can't see the sun. So the sun should be seen by my eyes, but I'm looking through the air, and I can't see the circle of the sun because it's not bright enough to penetrate the ambient atmosphere. So even during the day, the sun can disappear. Now, is there still some light around? Sure, but the sun is still relatively above my area. But now when it goes over to the West Coast, further away, thousands upon thousands of miles away, versus hundreds upon hundreds, and now I can't see it anymore. Now we know that the air is full of particulates and it has scattering and diffusion and all these types of things. Like, for example, if you go down in the ocean, I think it's only 40 meters. I think if you go down 40 meters in the ocean, you can't see any light. Why? Because there's something in between you and the sunlight. And the same thing happens with the atmosphere. And again, you'd have to assume that the sun was powerful enough to light up the whole Earth anyway. So I don't have any reason to assume that the sun would do that. The only reason people do is because they're imagining the sun as this giant ball that's shedding light in all directions with the heliocentric model they've been taught. So in other words, they're confusing what they've been taught and told is true between what they actually experience.
I see. Uh, I think you have a point. If you have that kind of a model, um, but then my question to you, follow question will be regarding the star patterns which are differ. The southern hemisphere sees different stars than the north, like the Southern Cross, and it's impossible on a flat disk. How will
Oh, no,
you?
no, it's not.
How will you?
No, it's only impossible. It's only impossible if you make certain assumptions about the nature of the stars, which are carryover assumptions from the heliocentric paradigm you've been taught. So what you need to do is take the heliocentric paradigm you've been taught, put it on the side for a second, recognize that the Earth measures flat, therefore it is flat, and therefore you have to reinterpret everything in the sky based on the fact the Earth is flat first. You can't mix the two worldviews. You can't say, well, if the Earth was flat, then why isn't it a globe? Because I was taught it was a globe. Like that doesn't even make sense. You have to say, if the Earth was flat, why would the sky, which is not the Earth, which is not attached to the Earth in any way, and we can only see it, why would that change the physical form of the Earth? The answer is it wouldn't.
I see.
So for example, in my house, in the kitchen, there's like an island, right, where you can sit and eat food, and above that is a light fixture, and there's actually 4 bulbs in that light fixture. Now, if I go to Home Depot and I buy a 6-bulb fixture and I swap it out, did that change the shape of the island? No, the island is still flat. Nothing that I do to the lights above it are going to change the physical structure of the table underneath it.
I see. Very interesting. But I have a question then. From explanatory point of view, you're flattered with another kind of model compared to globe Earth. How much more explanatory power does your model have? Meaning, how
Yeah,
much more
absolutely.
phenomena can it explain compared to, let's
Yeah,
say, a
sure.
round Earth model or a globe Earth model?
Sure. So baked into that question is the assumption that more explanations for more phenomenon equals more veracity, but that's not true. The only thing that actually results in veracity is validated explanations, not just simply possessing explanations. So, for example, the globe has all these explanations about how the Earth fits into the cosmos, like you described with the stars. But that fitting in, that explanation requires the Earth to actually be a globe. But when you measure the surface, it measures to be flat. So their explanation is proven false. So the flat Earth doesn't rely on the stars. It doesn't rely on the cosmos. It just relies on the structure of the Earth. So the explanations about what the sky is doing are not contingently linked to the shape of the Earth.
But for a model to be a good model, it should be able to explain observable phenomena.
No. See, here's the problem, dude. It's the heliocentric model is not a model of the Earth. It's a model of the cosmos, which includes the Earth. The flat Earth model is a model of the Earth, which excludes the cosmos, because the Earth is an object, kind of like my house is my house and it's not your house. And whatever my house is doesn't make your house what it is. So the Earth is the Earth, the stars are the stars, the sun is the sun, the cosmos is the cosmos. Whatever the structure of the Earth is has no bearing on what the cosmos is. Now, let me submit this to you, my friend. No one in the history of mankind, except in religious texts and fantasy, has ever been to the stars. No one. NASA has never been to the star. The astronauts have never been to the star. People on the ISS have never been to a star. Katy Perry, though she is allegedly a music star, she went up real high, but she didn't go to the stars. No human has ever been to the stars to validate anything about the cosmos. Everything they think about it is a story. That is all it is.
I see. But not being able to or not going to the star, how does it have to do anything with the Earth being round or Earth being globe?
Exactly, my friend, exactly. How does the stars have anything to do with the physical shape of the Earth? Now you're starting to get it. They have nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. The Earth is what it is, regardless of what the stars are.
Uh-huh.
So, for example, the stars could be giant balls of fire. Sure. The stars could be an angel singing in a celestial liquid, of which their singing vibrates the liquid and then creates the sonoluminescent light that reaches us. The stars could be giant farts from Cthulhu, the spaghetti monster. It wouldn't change what the shape of the Earth is.
would you say that our flat Earth model can you know um, you know can make some predictions like a
Oh,
scientifically speaking,
absolutely. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that
That's
can
100%. 100%.
that
I'll give you
predictions
one.
can be tested and
Yep,
we
sure.
can come.
Yep.
Can you give me some?
Right. So the flat Earth model predicts that there's no demonstrable curvature of the Earth because it's flat. So when you go out and you measure the Earth, you find no demonstrable curvature, proving the flat Earth model correct. Now, once more time, friend, I just got to remind you, I told you that the flat Earth model is not a cosmological model. It's a model of the surface of the Earth. And any way that you can practically model flat is all points on the surface within two horizontal parallel planes. Okay? That is the demonstrable, physical, mechanical, attainable definition of a flat surface that's horizontal. That's the only way you can do it. Now, the globe Earth claims that the points on the surface of the Earth are curving in a big circle and coming back around on themselves, and not between two horizontal planes. But when you go out and measure it, that curvature that they claim isn't there. So the only flat Earth model that exists is the model of flat, which is the surface that we can measure.
I see.
Now, don't get me wrong, friend. Many flat earthers have ideas about how the cosmos and the stars and the celestials work relative to the surface. Sure, that's fine. The problem is, just like with the globe Earth paradigm, they cannot go to any of those objects to validate their claims about what they are, what they're doing, where they are, where they came from, or where they're going. So again, they're in the same camp that the heliocentrists are in, which is in fantasy speculation land.
Mm. hmm Regarding gravity, if Earth was flat, like you claim it to be, or other people claim it to be, gravity would pull towards a central point,
No, not
not pull
necessarily
down
the case.
everywhere.
Okay, this is again, you're mixing worldviews from the heliocentric view to the flat Earth view. So you're saying, well, if gravity exists, it must exist the way I've been told it exists. Well, if the Earth is flat, then the way you've been told it exists isn't necessary. So all you need for gravity to work is just to have a universal down. Now, if you insist that gravity must pull towards the center, that's fine too. All you need for a flat Earth with gravity pulling towards the center of mass is to have a distribution of mass which varies out the field lines so that they're essentially perpendicular at the surface. So all you need is a quote unquote surface of the Earth that is not super thin. It just has to be thick, deep, and have a mass distribution underneath it. So there's nothing wrong with the conception of gravity in the Earth being flat. In fact, my friend, if you go outside right now, or if you go down the street, or if you go to your friend's house, or if you come to my house, or you do it right now, just drop something, you're going to witness it go towards the Earth, down. Now, everyone experiences down. So I could just assume that whatever is making things go down is perpendicular to a horizontal plane, because I've already established the Earth as a horizontal plane of reference across its entire surface, which is covered in water, which is the definition of the level surface. So if gravity is anything, friend, it proves the Earth is flat. Because we all see things go down, no one ever sees, no one has ever witnessed, no one has ever experienced something going inwards to a giant ball. We only experience it falling down perpendicular to a horizontal plane of reference. That's all we ever experience. You, me, your mom, your dad, your grandfather, and your kids.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, I think that kind of ends my questions. I think you have
Yeah, no worries,
answered them.
brother.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for being respectful. And thanks for my team for not jumping in on any of those words, which might have taken us offline.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Take care. Bye.
All right, so he'll be. I don't know if you left, brother, but if you didn't, if you have a question in the future, come back and ask us. Just come back with the same attitude you had there, inquiry. You don't come back saying, "Hey, I got you because I found this piece of evidence." I don't think you're that way, and hopefully, no one will treat you that way when you come back. Cool. All right, next victim. I mean, next participant. So did our previous homeboy post what he was supposed to post yet?
Fail so far.
Nope, still waiting.
Oh, he did post while I was talking to our friend there that you have epistemology and ontology. And so you can determine what a star is through epistemology and ontology. Okay, so ontology is the nature of what something is and its existence. So how would you know that without being able to validate it? So he's saying he can get a long-range ontological sensor device, reach out and grab the star from its emissions towards us and be able to determine exactly what it is without ever going to the star to validate it, and then dogmatically say, now I have epistemology, which means knowledge. So I can make a claim about the ontology of the star based on something that I'm assuming from my local range, extrapolating it out via uniformitarianism to the distant range, and then make fundamental claims about things without ever having the burden of proof to validate my claims. Yeah. No thanks, brother. Sorry. Oh, by the way, brother, when they do that spectroscopy from the stars, right, and they do spectroscopy in a lab, and then they try to say this is what the star's made of because of the lines in the spectra. The problem is, friend, that the sample size in the lab is bigger than the accurate sample size of the star. So in a lab, in order to be accurate, they need a certain parts per million or whatever. Just for sake of argument, let's just say they need 50 parts per million. But when it comes to the cosmos, they're getting 3 parts per million. So they're claiming, let's see, well, 50 times 3, what's that? Like 25, 20 times? They're claiming 20 times greater accuracy of sensor ability to something that's light years away versus something that's in a lab. And you are eating it up ignorantly. Hey, you know what, friend? I'll tell you what, bro. In my truck, I carry a purple book. Okay. And the book has a title on it, and the title is Spectroscopy. Now, I guarantee you, you don't carry a book around in your glove box that says spectroscopy on it. So I'm clearly the expert. Now, you may ask, why in the heck would you just be randomly carrying a book called spectroscopy? Well, I also have another book that's all about the human dimensions when you're building things, like a man and a woman and the average heights and stuff, sitting in a chair, sitting at a desk. That's one of my reference books. I also have an electrical book. That's in case I need to do any electrical or, sizing. Ergonomics, that's what it's called, ergonomics. Sorry, I was going to say calisthenics, but that's exercise. So you may ask, well, why do you have a spectroscopy book in your car? Well, that's in case I ever get in an accident, you see. That way, when they ask me, what did you see? I can give them the spectral analysis of the other car. And I can say, yep, it was a Chevy, white, and here's the spectra. But do you know what? That wouldn't fly in court. Do you know why, my friend? Because the expert witness would say, was it done in a lab with certain tolerances? And I'd have to say no. And they'd say, well, then it's beyond the tolerance of the sensitivity of the machine, so how can you make a positive claim about what you saw? And I'll say, oh, well, if people can do it about the stars, which are trillions of miles away, then I could do it about whatever I want to. There's light bulbs that exist on the Earth, which have dual layers, and the thing inside it excites the layer on the outside of it. And then the spectra that's coming off is what's going on the outside layer, not the inside layer. So a spectrometer can't even tell what's on the inside of a light bulb on Earth, let alone something that's a light years upon light years away. I mean, get out of town with that nonsense.